hope you are doing well wherever you are around the world, listening or watching, and that you are enjoying the end of the summer, which is coming to an end, that you are having a great time with your family wherever you are. Make the most, whether it's winter in your country, if you are in the southern hemisphere, or summer in the north, make the most of it and enjoy each moment, enjoy each day, because you'll never have it back again. And I would like to say it has been 3 years since the podcast and YouTube channel have been aired, and I am very grateful for you for having been there to support the podcast and the YouTube channel. And today I want to let you know I'm having a little holiday with my team. We need a break like everyone, so we are going to take a break for the next few weeks until mid-September, that we are going to be back with some great episodes and great guest speakers. So stay tuned. We are coming back. We are not leaving. We're just having a holiday because we all need a break, but we miss you all very much when we'll think of you. And I would like to say today is episode 119 with the wonderful guest, a wonderful lady. Her name is Vanessa Cardenas. So enjoy this episode, and I will see you all in September. And I want to say a big thank you for my team for having been a great help the past 3 years, helping me with the podcast. So take care, everyone, and we'll be back in September for some wonderful, great episodes. Bye, everybody. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Amazing You Podcasts and YouTube channels, the channels where stories of resilience, triumph, and unwavering hope come to life. In each episode, we dive into the inspiring journey of individuals who have faced the toughest challenges heads-on and emerge victorious. Our aim is to be a beacon of inspiration, offering a guiding light to those navigating through difficult times. Today, whether you are dealing with a health challenge, a professional setback, or personal struggles, this channel is dedicated to uplifting your spirit and showing you that even in the darkest moments, there's a path to hope and triumph. So join us as we share powerful stories that transcend adversity, reminding you that resilience is a force within us all. So be prepared to be inspired and find the strength to navigate life's challenges. So this is Amazing You channel, where hope takes center stage. I am your host, Dr. Rani Thanacoody. I am a clinical hypnotherapist using rapid transformational therapy. I am a Mars Venus life and relationship coach, breathwork coach, astrologer, tarot reader, past life regression practitioner, chakra practitioner, and life force compassion practitioner. And today, I am really, really excited, and I have the great pleasure to introduce you to the wonderful Vanessa Cardenas. She is a betrayal recovery specialist, transformational coach, inspirational speaker, and author with over 20 years of experience as a C-suite executive, mentoring over 500 employees. And Vanessa holds a degree in industrial psychology, along with 2 certifications from the prestigious Post-Betrayal Transformation Institute as both a coach and support host. And as well as certification, she holds different certifications in various disciplines, including trauma coaching, life coaching, 6-phase meditation, and mental fitness, along with specialized betrayal recovery training with Dr. Debbie Sieber. So welcome to Amazing You, Vanessa.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for having me. We're going to have the most amazing conversation. We spoke for 3 minutes before you hit that record button, and we realized how many people we know, just the two of us. And that's so amazing. Those synchronicities that happen within life. Yes, Marissa. Oh, I know her too. And Dr. Debbie Silber. Oh, yes. Oh, it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing how we gravitate towards each other when we see each other's light and we understand and we see each other's pain and we know, this woman's been through something. Yes, but look at her now. She's on the other side. She's a beautiful example of what is actually possible. Oh, and there's so many possibilities. There truly, truly are. And as you mentioned, the darkness, ooh, it gets really dark. But in that darkness, there's a pinhole of light beckoning you, calling you, come
Yes.
forward, come on, you can do it, you can do it. And as you get closer and closer, that pinhole gets into the size of a golf ball, then a baseball, then a basketball. And then it's so big, you can step right through it.
Yeah.
And that's what we do. We move right through it. It's glorious. It absolutely is. And I know so many of my clients come in and they describe themselves as broken.
Mm.
No, you're not broken. You're not broken. You've just had something terrible happen to you,
Yeah.
but it wasn't about you. Mm. Glorious words that Dr. Debbie Silver said. And the first time I heard them,
Yeah.
what do you mean? What do you
Mm.
mean that yes, this happened to me and it was about me? That's what I thought because I was still in the darkness. I thought it was about me.
Mm.
Oh, but it wasn't. It truly, truly wasn't. You see, for me, I married my high school sweetheart.
Okay.
Oh, his beautiful chestnut brown eyes. Oh, they get me every time. Every time I looked at him, I saw my reflection and I saw his intoxication of me. And we got married and we checked off all the boxes. We did. I was addicted to certainty. I thought for sure that if I did everything right, and I say that in air quotes,
Yeah.
that I would be inoculated from anything terrible happening to me. I had advanced in my career. I was in the C-suite. I was one of the youngest in the C-suite. I had a career, I had a family, I had a loving husband, I had the cars and the house and the money in the bank. I thought I was set.
Mm.
And then that one day, we were walking through Central Park, beautiful Central Park, and the Christmas in the air, and you could just smell the glorious smells of everything. And my husband said to me, Vanessa, and I turned to look at those beautiful chestnut brown eyes, and I thought to myself in that split second, wow, I really love him. And he said three words to me that just shattered me, shattered me. I was a shell of myself.
Mm.
I've met someone,
Wow.
and my whole world shattered.
Mm.
I fell apart. I could not function. And
Mm.
I couldn't understand why I was suffering the way I was. And the just overwhelming feelings and all of the emotions. And I was so angry at myself because I was a smart woman. I had a psychology degree.
Yeah.
Why was this affecting me so strongly to the
Mm.
point where I just couldn't function? And it was through finally asking for help. And that was a big deal. That was a very big deal because we as women, we
Mm.
don't like to ask for help. We're strong. We're very proud of our capes and of our superhero status that we can do everything and we can be everything to everyone. We
Yes.
so rarely ask for help. And it's such a beautiful thing to ask for help because there are those that can help and are willing to help and want to help. And
Mm.
it was only until I actually asked for help that I got the reprieve that I needed. that I needed. And a lot of it had to do with the fact that I made a pact.
Okay.
I made a pact. I made a promise to God, Spirit, Source, that if I could have a reprieve, that I promise that I would help someone else get through this, get through betrayal, because it's very different than anything else. It truly is. Yes, it's trauma, without a doubt, but there's an element to it when it's betrayal, when it's somebody that you
Mm.
trust with your life,
Yeah.
that you give yourself over to vulnerably and fully and completely and wholeheartedly. And they, in essence, take your heart, rip it out of your chest, and stomp on it. And you're left there, just a shell of yourself with all of these emotions. And I made that promise. And the very next day, I felt a little better. And the day after, better than the day before. And the third day, wow, I was actually feeling really good. I was like, wow, I'm going to get through this. And then I got the shove. The very next day, I got that little shove. You made a promise. Now it's time to get to work. And that's when I discovered Marissa and Debbie Silber and Michelle Mays and all of the greats related to trauma and specifically related to betrayal. And I became a student all over again, digesting everything I could get my hands on and realizing that I could help. I could actually help someone else. And it wasn't until I was actually in someone else's support group and I became an unofficial ambassador. I was the sponsor for everyone else. And that guru pulled me aside and said, Vanessa, you're really good at this. Like you're exceptional at what you do. And I'd love to train you. I'd love to train you. And I think that you should be doing this. You should be helping others. It would be
Yeah.
selfish of you to keep this gift
Mm.
just to yourself. And that hit me really hard. It really did because somebody saw something in me that I didn't see in myself. And it was
Mm.
glorious, and I wholeheartedly jumped in. And then subsequently, because I was giving out worksheets and workshops and talking on stage, someone approached me and said, "Hey, you should write a book."
Okay.
"Really? I
Yeah.
should write a book?" And they're like, "Yes, you should absolutely write a book. Write the book that you needed." Because in your speeches, you talk about your nightstand being filled with books about betrayal, about trauma, about anything related to healing. And you would highlight certain passages and certain things you would just dismiss, like, no, that doesn't feel right. Well, take all that wisdom that you've curated all this time and write the guidebook that you needed. And I jumped right in. I love it. I absolutely love it because I didn't design it for commercial or academic success. Not at all. It was the guidebook that I needed. And now hand it out for impact. That's all it is for impact so that those that have been betrayed know that they're not alone. That they're not alone. It can feel so lonely. You can feel like the only one. And you can ask the $1,000,000 question, why? Why? So I struggled with that. I wanted to know why. Why was this happening? And I actually started with Start with the Why,
Yeah.
Simon Sinek, which
Yeah.
is a business leadership book, which is appropriate for me because I'm in a leadership position. But
Mm.
this book for me, Start with the Why, Simon Sinek, I read that from cover to cover with the lens of betrayal because
Mm.
that's all I saw.
Yeah.
It's the red car theory. When you want a red car, suddenly you see it everywhere.
Yeah.
Well, when you go through betrayal, you see it everywhere. You eyeball it everywhere. And when I read his book, Start with the Why, it was fascinating. It was absolutely fascinating. And then the second book that I read, again, this one was about betrayal, was The State of Affairs by Estelle Perel, who's very big in the space as well. And again, I read it from the perspective of betrayal and really wanted to dissect it. But there were certain parts of it that didn't resonate with me, which are absolutely fine. That's the beauty of talking to different people. You get little tidbits from everyone, and you decide what feels good to you and what you toss. Just doesn't quite feel right. And then the third book that I absolutely loved, and again, not related to betrayal, but was The Gift. The Gift by Edith Eger. The 12 Lessons to Save Your Life. She's a Holocaust survivor, and she wrote about her time in the concentration camps and how gratitude saw her through. And that really resonated with me. I felt that I needed to be grateful for what had come into my life. As devastating as it was there for me for a purpose. There was a meaning to it. And for me, the meaning that I found was that I needed to step into who I was meant to be. Yes, I've always been a leader, and I got into that C-suite. But who I was meant to be was actually helping outside of the C-suite, helping relationships, using the 33 years, yes, 33 years that I've been married. Yes, we stayed together. We worked through the betrayal. We worked through the I've met someone to stay married. And 33 years later, here we are, a testament to it is possible. What you do in life doesn't echo in eternity. People do make mistakes. People do have moments of weakness. They do have things that happen. And we on the outside looking in need to recognize and come to a place of forgiveness, not necessarily for them, but for ourselves. And that's huge. When we can forgive ourselves, we're liberated. And these 3 books that I mentioned really helped me be liberated. Yes. And that helped me design my book, which is dealing with the devastation of your partner's betrayal. What to do when your world falls apart. Just step by step, step by step.
Wow, that is beautiful, Vanessa. Thank you, Vanessa, for being on the podcast, for sharing your story today of betrayal, and it has helped the audience to understand why you wrote that book. You know, it's so important to understand. And you said so many great things, so many great self-care practices to help to heal. And I love you talk about gratitude and forgiveness. I think these are there are many other practices that we need to work on and to heal those wounds, but gratitude and forgiveness, I have found for me, having experienced a lot of trauma, that these 2 practices have been extremely helpful in healing myself, and in accepting myself, when we are in those when we experience a lot of traumas in our childhood, but sometimes they are not only ours, they are intergenerational trauma, and until we take that time to heal ourselves and discover who we are in that process. Yes. And I would like to ask you a question. Along that journey of understanding your betrayal and healing yourself, what has been for you, Vanessa, the greatest lesson you've learned about yourself?
The greatest lesson that I learned about myself. I love the question. I love the question.
Thank you.
My greatest lesson is that I am unique. I am so unique, and I am so beautiful in my own way. and I am full of myself. And I have to give just a little story about that.
Please.
I spoke on a stage. I was a surprise guest because unfortunately the speaker came down with COVID, and they called me at the last moment and said, "Hey, can you come in and speak to a women's group?" Absolutely, of course, I'd love to.
Yeah.
And I showed up completely unprompted. There was nothing in any of the marketing material that I was there, what I do. And though you gave me such a beautiful introduction, the
Thank
person who gave me the introduction then just said, "And this is Vanessa." And that was it. No preamble, no, any kind of history or anything. And I jumped on stage and I did my thing. And I was so excited to be there and to speak to this group of women. And I got off the stage and I was just glowing. And then we had lunch, and it was a buffet lunch. And I heard two women up ahead chatting about what I had just spoken about. And one, very catty, says, "She's so full of herself."
you. Wow.
I was so excited. I jumped off the line and I ran up to them and I said, "Thank you. Thank you. That is the best compliment that you could have ever given me." And her jaw dropped because she thought that she was being negative, and I took it positive. Yes, I am full of myself. I am at the top of the list. I have for
Yes.
so long, I had put myself at the bottom of the list. I was willing to sacrifice myself, my needs, for everyone else around me. And finally, after going through betrayal and the healing process, I put myself at the top of the list. So, yes, yes, I am full of myself. You have no idea how much your compliment means to me. Yes. So, yes, I am full of myself, and I am so grateful. I'm so filled with gratitude. And I just want to give it. I just want to give the wisdom just so that people around me know that it can be very lonely. I get that. So many people are on social media and they think that social media is camaraderie, and it's not. We become warriors with our thumbs, and
Yeah.
we actually hurt those around us, and we become so isolated that
Yes.
actually looking at someone and talking to someone and seeing them is so valuable. And that's why you'll never see me walking through Manhattan, New York, with a cell phone in my hand. I don't. I don't do it. It's in the bottom of my purse. Why? Because I'm looking at everyone else
Yeah.
and I'm smiling at everyone else. And I just want them to know, I see you. I do
Mm.
see you. I might see the top of your forehead, the top of the crown of your head because you're in your phone. But if you're actually look up once in a while, you'll see me smile at you because I see you. Mm.
Thank you. Thank you, Vanessa. Vanessa, I love your energy. I love everything that you say. You are so inspirational, and oh my God, I can't. It's like as if I hear Dr. Siba talking. It's like, oh, I love your energy. You are amazing. And I love the connection that we have in common as well. It's like the universe has conspired to put us together today. And I am very grateful to the universe and to you. And and the other thing I would like to ask you is, you were talking also about, there was something that you talked that I'll have to edit that bit because you made so many great points, and I, I lost it I lost it while you were talking. Oh, I say, oh, I should have noted it because before I noted a few of your points, but I'll edit that bit. So I'll keep on, and I would like you to share with us what did you discover was the root cause of that betrayal that you experienced? Because so that the audience understand that every issue that they have, it has some deeper root somewhere. And did you manage to uncover that and understand where that betrayal came from?
Mm. The answer to that question is twofold, because the betrayal happened because my husband, and again, this was after months and months and months and months of therapy, getting to the root cause of why his actions, why, his why, and his why was related to how he was feeling. So he shared these 3 words with me, and the way it played out in his mind before he said those words was that I would immediately be like, wait a second, you need to pick me and we need to work on our marriage and everything else. He did not anticipate that I would fall to pieces and I would hand back my wedding ring and just be like, okay, you've met someone, there you go. You're out, go ahead, go. And that's not what he wanted. He wanted my attention. He wanted us to rekindle that intoxication of when we were in high school and when we first got married and when we had our children and everything else. We had become micromanaging our household and our marriage, and he missed that closeness and that connection. It just evolved in a way where we're just there, and he wanted that back. And yes, he enjoyed the attention of another woman. He did, but he wanted that attention from me. He went about it completely the wrong way, of course, and saying those 3 words and seeing my reaction, he shut down, he turtled in, and then didn't speak or didn't talk about it for months on end. Whereas if I had just heard him and paused and stayed quiet and let him finish his thought and say, I've met someone who's paying me a lot of attention and I like that attention, but I want that attention from you, then we would have had something to talk about. But I shut him down immediately because I heard that and I immediately got defensive and got hurt by it. And it was only through working through my own trauma that I realized that the reason that this trauma hurt so bad was that I had all these little micro betrayals throughout my entire life that never healed. So
Yes.
when he said those words, they all popped open and
Yeah.
started bleeding.
Mm.
Yes. So that's what I learned in the process of the why, of the betrayal, of why this was hurting so much. Because there were lots, as I mentioned, lots of little micro betrayals. And
Yes.
they start really, really young.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Very much so. Those,
Mm.
I'm going to be your friend. I'm your best friend. And then the very next day, I'm not your friend. I
Yeah.
don't want to be friends with you. That's a betrayal, but we don't have the words. We don't have the language to understand why we feel the way that we do. And it's those feelings that are the glue that hold that memory for us, how we felt about it. And I suddenly realized I had all of these micro betrayals throughout my entire life, throughout my career as well. But you just move along, you move along, you move along, you move along. But suddenly you hit that wall and you have
Yes.
to turn around and you have to face it all. But you can. And when you do, you're liberated from it.
Oh,
And
yes.
it's glorious.
Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you for clarifying that and helping us to understand, for helping the audience to understand that anything, any emotions that, any trauma that you experience is just the symptoms, you have to go deeper and peel those layers and uncover and look at yourself and where you need the healing and let go of certain things and sometimes certain people in your life, certain events, certain situations, so that you are free and you are free to be you, to be your authentic you. Thank you, Doc. Thank you so much, Vanessa. And my other question to you is, can you, from all your years of experience and working with clients, would you please share some challenges that individuals face with dealing with betrayal and how your approach as a betrayal recovery specialist differs from conventional therapy or counseling, please?
Mm. Beautiful question.
Thank you.
It's definitely challenging because, as I mentioned, as women, it's very hard for us to ask for help.
Yeah.
And what sets me apart and those within my space is our specialized training. Very much so, because anybody can claim, oh, I'll just be an infidelity coach, and I'll take a 10-hour course and I'll be ready to help you. It doesn't work that way. It truly, truly doesn't. And anything you do in life, you want to get that help, ask for that help by somebody who's actually been through it. Really, really helps. And that's one of the reasons why I came forward and not be selfish and allow myself to use all the wisdom that I've curated to help someone else. So initially, it's listening to the story because they have their story, they have their narrative. And the question that really gets to me every single time I work with a new client is that they'll explain what has happened, they'll go through the whole story. And the question that they ask, 9 times out of 10, it's really bizarre that this is the question that they ask. Is this betrayal? Like, they're
Okay.
not even sure.
Right.
They're
Mm.
not even sure. They're so paralyzed in what's happening, and they take it on themselves. What did I do? What's wrong with me? Why is this happening to me? Was I not enough? Am I not enough? Am I not good enough? They take all of it onto themselves, and they're stuck. They're stuck, they're trapped. Their body becomes a coffin for
Mm.
everything that they're feeling. So the first step is share your story. Share your story. Get it out of here, out of your head, through your words and out. And then usually I will say it back. I'll say it back pretty much the way that they have said it. And then I'll start to reframe it and ask different questions about how they see the whole situation, because a lot of times they have blinders on
Yeah.
and they have rose-colored glasses on, and they're not quite seeing it for what it is. Same thing in my case. I didn't see it for what it was because I had my own preconceived ideas that when somebody says, I've met someone, that means that they're going to divorce you, they're going to get married, they're going to have kids, they're going to do their whole life without you.
Mm.
I had that preconceived idea. And a lot of my clients walk in with a preconceived idea of what is actually happening, when in actuality, it is usually something very different. And we unpack it. And we can unpack it in several sessions. We can unpack it over 6 months. We can unpack it over 2 years. And that can seem very daunting. Wait a second, 2 years? You're talking, I'm going to feel this pain for 2 years? No, you're not going to feel the pain for 2 years. You're going to feel that pain. You're going to walk through that fire. But after you get out of the fire, you're standing there and you're kind of in a position of what's next? And there's so many possibilities as to what's next. And that's what we work on, because we want to make sure that we clear up all of those little remnants so that your new relationship, whether that's a new relationship with your existing partner or a new relationship with someone new, doesn't have all that baggage, so that you can start anew. And it's glorious. It truly is. And I love that possibilities. And that's usually the second session is, what is it exactly that you want? What do you see? What's the end? Or
Yes.
what's the beginning? Because a lot of times they think the end is the end.
Yeah.
The end is just the beginning. It's
Absolutely.
just truly the beginning of what their life is going to be like. And spectacular. It truly is. I love that possibilities,
Mm.
all those possibilities, all those opportunities. And I love when they leave my office feeling lighter, like it's just been lifted. It's still challenging, make no mistake, but I like the 1 degree tactic. People just want to immediately feel 100% better. It's not realistic, but you can feel 1% better. Let's get you 1% better and staying 1% better. Then the next time, next day, another 1%. Before you know it, at the end of 30 days, you're feeling 30% better. I don't know about you, but I really wanted to feel 30% better. Yes, 100% is glorious, but it's not attainable right at the start. 1 degree, 1%. Oh, yes, yes. And we just incrementally do it. And before we realize it, we're actually feeling better. And we look back at the past and we're like, wow, look how far I've come. Look how far I've come. And that, it's so rewarding. It feels so good.
Vanessa, thank you so much for sharing those powerful words, and for really highlighting that the healing journey. We have to take it step by step as a client and go at our own pace, when we cannot expect overnight results just by closing our eyes and opening our eyes. It's like we have to learn to be patient with ourselves, because there are layers of conditioning that we have to peel slowly. We can't do that in one day, in one session. So I'm so grateful that you clarified that, and that the audience learn that whatever they are going through, they can heal, but be compassionate to yourself. And compassion is a great, great part of healing, on that healing journey. And would you like to share with us a few words about how compassion is an important part in healing on that journey of the betrayal, Vanessa?
Oh, and it's self-compassion. We need to be gentle with ourselves. We really beat ourselves up
We
over
do.
it. What? I didn't see this. I didn't see it coming. I got blindsided. I had little inklings, but I ignored them. We go through a laundry list of
Yes.
excuses and reasons, and we suffer. We suffer terribly when we do that to ourselves. So it's self-compassion that we need. We need to be gentle with ourselves. We don't know what we don't know. And once we know, then we know how to move forward. We have to ease our suffering. We ease our suffering when we find meaning in that suffering. And I know that's harsh. It truly is. Why must we suffer to find meaning? I'm not saying that. I'm saying when you suffer, if you suffer, find the meaning in it. Yes, you will grieve. And yes, there are 5 stages of grieving, and many practitioners think it's linear, some think it's a circle and whatnot. I subscribe to 6 stages of grieving, with the 6th one being meaning. What's the meaning that we assign to it? And can we be compassionate to ourselves? Can we forgive ourselves? Can we trust ourselves? That's a big one, to trust ourselves and to be gentle with ourselves. There's only one of us, and we're so unique and we're so beautiful. Honor yourself. And then everybody else.
That's so well said, Vanessa. Yes, because the power that we are all looking for, it's within us. All the powers, the healing powers, everything. So please look inside of yourself, everybody. And that's where the greatest journey starts. Yeah. Vanessa, it's been enlightening talking to you. I had so many questions that I wrote that I didn't have time to share with you, because your story was, the way you were sharing with us has been so captivating. And I really, really enjoy our time together, and I'm sure the audience as well. But I have a last question for you. So would you please share with us what are your next projects? What is coming up for you? Tell us about the books that you've written, and how can the audience contact you? And if you would share your links and your social media, they will also appear, but I would love for you to share those. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, yes. Well, my two books, yes, I wrote two. Dealing with the devastation of your partner's betrayal, What to Do When Your World Falls Apart. That led to several people saying, well, how do I talk to my family, to my kids, to my parents, to my in-laws? Well, that led to the second book, same title, dealing with the devastation of your partner's betrayal, how to talk to your kids, your parents, your in-laws, friends, and others, because that can be very challenging. So those are my two books. I do have a workbook in the works because I've been asked for that as well. We'll see. That's probably 2025. I'll get that workbook out because what I've been working on most recently is appearing on podcasts. You are number 55 in this last year because I really want to get the message out there that those that are betrayed, you're not alone. You are not alone, and you will heal. You will, even though it feels so awful now. Know this. I'm a beautiful example of what is actually possible on the other side. So I'm so honored to be on various podcasts sharing this message. In addition, I'm working on various workshops to do, both in person as well as Zoom. And I can't wait to be on stage. So I have several different stage appearances happening this year that I'm so honored and privileged to be a part of. So I'm excited about those as well. And then finally, it's my one-on-one clients. That is where I make the biggest impact because I can affect generations, generations based on how both parties or individual parties heal from the betrayal. And if they truly heal and they move forward, it can affect the family in such profound ways. And I love that aspect of it. So I love working with one-on-one clients. How you can find me, my URL, my website is understandingear.com. And that comes from a quote, my favorite quote in one of my favorite books, the author Stephen King. Yes, the horror writer. Yes, absolutely love his short story book. And it started with a quote, which I've condensed.
Okay.
The most important things are the hardest things to say. They're locked within, not for the want of a teller, but for the want of an understanding ear. So my URL, my website is understandingear.com. You can also find everything that I do, everything, because I have so many resources, and you can follow me on Instagram and on Facebook and on my YouTube channel as well. You can find all of that under my link tree, which is my link tree with my name, Vanessa Cardenas.
Thank you so much, Vanessa. Thank you for sharing and for sharing with us the great projects that are coming, for telling us about your book. Congratulations, and I hope you do write more books. And I wish you a lot of success with the podcast, and I'm sure you will be on many stages because you are such a force to be reckoned, Vanessa. And also, I would like to say thank you for sharing your links, for taking your precious time today to be with the audience. And I am very, very grateful for that. And I wish you a lot of success on your journey. And I would like to say thank you to the audience for watching, sharing, and subscribing. And thank you again, Vanessa. been a great honor to host you, and sending you lots of success, love, and healing. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.